8:10 WBCK. Here we are in early September, and that means it is Hunger Action Month. And here to talk a little bit about that today is Keith Williamson from the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. Keith, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
Great. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good.
Dodge the raindrops a little, did you?
Yes, I did. It actually lit up till you get here.
Yeah, that's right. It was really dark. We had a 7:13 sunrise, and it looked like the dark of night out there.
Yep.
So I presume that Hunger Action Month in September is not by accident, that this is a well-engineered plan.
Absolutely. It's Feeding America's organized plan to mobilize the public across the United States toward the issue of hunger.
Mm-hmm. And I presume that over the summer you've dealt with hunger as it relates to school children in a different way, maybe, and now we're back in school, and so the gears kick into motion as it relates to feeding school kids.
Absolutely. I think we get back into school. All the children that are dependent on the free and reduced lunches now are now dependent on us as well to get them the after-school packs on Friday afternoon, so they have food for the weekends.
Yeah, and every time we talk about that, I just have to pause a minute and think about that there is a concerted, coordinated effort. Not only have we realized that some school kids don't eat as well at home on the weekend as they do when they come to school during the week, but we've done something about it. This is a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when children go home for the weekend and they were relying on those meals during the week, they don't eat on the weekend. They come to school on Monday, they're hungry, they can't concentrate on studying and learning, and those are the children who become a problem in classroom because they're so focused on the issue of hunger that they can't focus on what they need to be focusing on.
Goodness. So how does that work? If we just talk about that for a second, uh, you have a group of volunteers, I presume, and the backpacks come from somewhere, and this is all a well orchestrated effort.
Absolutely. We either pack the packs at the food bank with use of volunteers, groups or individuals come and help to do that, or we have some groups that actually take the packs or the material to their location and pack them for the schools that they deal with. The schools are registered with us. There's over 60 schools that participate, and we get the packs assembled into the schools, and then the school passes them out on a Friday afternoon.
And in doing so, I've been told in the past that these efforts are somewhat discreet, so it's not entirely clear what's happening there.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest challenges we've seen that I've been talking to people about is the children in the grade schools. It's not much of a problem getting the after school pack. But when you get into the middle schools and the high schools as well, there seems to be an issue of bullying going on where the kids are picking on the kids that get the food.
Right.
And I think that's pretty sad because the kids need the food to study and be a little alert when they come to school the following morning, or the following Monday rather. And I think I think in some cases, actually, some of the children that may be bullying may be eligible for the food, just aren't getting it because sometimes there's a pride issue gets in the way, and parents may need to have those kids get the food, but don't register to do so because they don't want to feel needy.
Yeah.
But it's help that's available if they do need it.
Boy, hard to know what the motivation might be, and as you say, maybe it's a feeling of jealousy or something.
Could be.
Wow. We're talking with Keith Williamson today about Hunger Action Month. And when we come back in a minute, we'll find out what action needs to be taken during Hunger Action Month. That's coming up on WBCK 814. Keith Williamson's here, Food Bank of South Central Michigan. We're talking about Hunger Action Month. Now, that suggests that there's action in trying to deal with hunger in September. Well, of course, there always is, but maybe more so than usual. What does that mean, Hunger Action Month?
We want people to actually step up and take action, realize that hunger is a problem, either donate, volunteer, do something that says, I'm here in solidarity for hunger. Let's solve this problem.
Mm-hmm. And how do they do that this month?
One of the big things we're asking people to do is join into Spoon Timber, which is basically taking a spoon selfie, putting a spoon on your nose, take a picture of yourself with it. Sometimes it may look corny, but it shows solidarity. Post that to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Use the hashtag Spoon Timber. The nice part about the spoon is spoon really creates a nice symbol, similar to the Ice Bucket Challenge, but the spoon is something that symbolizes eating. It's used to prepare food, eat food, and actually help people that can't feed themselves. You got to use a spoon to feed them, so it's a good symbol.
So much of this is just awareness and finding, particularly with social media now, clever ways to shine the light on these issues. The Ice Bucket Challenge, as you referred to, it has done that. So Spoon Timber is a way to do this in the fight against hunger, which it sounds like a brilliant idea.
It is. It's a fun idea, and sometimes you get to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
But put it out there and challenge your friends and relatives to do the same.
So is this the time of year or the beginning of the time of year where you see an uptick in demand?
Actually, demand's pretty steady all year long. Actually,
Okay.
the highest demand is in the summertime and around the holidays.
Really?
Because the summertime, kids are out of school. They're more
Mhm.
dependent on finding ways to feed the kids. And then when you get into the holidays, of course, it's a tough time. People are struggling as the utility bills rise.
Sure, we're running the heat more at that point. It becomes more essential at that point. So yeah, Spoon Timber, we hope then would result in what?
More awareness. Maybe say people get out and volunteer, either a group or individuals. We have this coming Saturday coming up is the Family Matters Day at the food bank. You can bring your family out in the morning from 9 to 11 and help do something at the food bank. Or you have a group or a business that wants to participate, you can connect with us and bring a group out and do an activity as well. So, taking physical action, donating as well. This summer was a real challenge finding food. For the first time in a few years, we've had a real shortage of food.
Oh,
So we've had to go farther distance to find food. So that, of course, costs us more money for transportation. And in some cases, even had to buy the food in order to fill the need. So I think donations is another big way to help. Every dollar donated to the food bank can provide 6 meals to a family in need.
let's let that sink in a second. $1, 6 meals. That's buying power right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. I mean, you think about how we can get a semi-load of food for just the cost of transportation, $400 or $500 to get 45 to 50,000 pounds worth of food. We can really stretch a dollar.
Yeah. But you made an interesting reference there that this summer was interesting in trying to meet the need. Is that because need has been greater, or was there some other factor there?
I think it's a combination. I think need was high this summer. Plus, we also saw, I think a lot of manufacturers are finding ways to be more efficient, which happens every now and then. They look at how much they've been donating and think, can they be a little more efficient? And as a result, sometimes the donation change seems to slow down a little bit. It's happened once before, and history does repeat itself occasionally. So, the first few weeks I figured it would just come back and bounce back, but after about a month, I said it's time to start buying food.
Wow. So, yeah, let's be clear about this. Much of the food that you may be receiving is excess from food producers.
Absolutely, it could be a product misrun, a mislabel. It could be sometimes a lot of manufacturers will step up and donate just because it's important to do it. I mean, it's first run product, but it's a wide variety of sources where we can get the food. Of course, in the summertime, we have the advantage of working with the farmers. That was always a big plus in the summertime. Our fresh food initiatives, we did over 400 of them this summer, bringing fresh food to people. The thing that was different this year, we also did taste testing. We had recipes prepared for by chefs in the area, from firekeepers or from senior services, and we let people try these products and teach them how to cook these foods again. And it was amazing how well it went over. And the first couple times, people were kind of reluctant to try what we brought. But toward the end of the summer, they were coming to the tent as soon as we set up. And what did you bring us this month? And here's the recipes, how to make it. And it's interesting how things like kale and squash would be the first things gone off the truck.
Interesting. Right. Once we understand how to make something that's appetizing out of something maybe we just didn't know how to do it, makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about this coming up in just a minute on WBCK 824 WBCK. Keith Williamson is here from the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. We're talking about Hunger Action Month, among other things, and just noting that the summer has been challenging for food supply and donations to the food bank. And you made the reference that food companies sometimes end up undergoing a period where they're attempting to be more efficient, and thus there's less waste or less excess that would then be donations for food banks. This is an interesting issue. I'm sure that's a tightrope to walk, trying to be efficient but still trying to be helpful.
Absolutely. And I think, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have some very socially responsible organizations here in Battle Creek, which have been really helpful to us, such as Kellogg's, Post, and ConAgra. Those three partners step up on a regular basis to help us out.
Yeah, and so if you're in a situation now where you feel as though some of that excess has not come your way, how do you handle that besides buying new food? I mean, do you go and say to them, Gee, what happened?
Well, you know, the products we can get locally, we do get locally, but otherwise we reach out to other food banks to see what they may have excess of. They have partners as well in their area. We also work with Feeding America nationally to see what they can find us. And I think that's one of the areas we saw the real downturn this summer. We have a website where we can actually go bid on products in truckloads, and usually there's 30, 40, 50 loads a day. And this summer was somewhere around 6 to 8 a day, so it was a lot less food out there.
And now we're talking about nationwide.
Yes, exactly. So, and then of course sometimes you have the problem just of the cost of transportation. You may find a lot of excess product, but it may be in California. It's just far too costly to move over to Central America or the East Coast. It's just too cost prohibitive.
Mm-hmm. So, if you say to a company, you know, we didn't get as much from you lately. Generally, what's the response? I mean, are they receptive to that idea and they change things, or would they rather give you a cash donation? How do they sort that out?
If they're a food manufacturer, such as we have locally, they've been very good at getting me additional food. I mean, usually I've made a couple phone calls and they'll step right up and make sure we get the food we need. So it's just when we step outside of the products we can find locally, it becomes more difficult.
Mm-hmm. And referring to that Feeding America situation, it suggests that this is just not a regional issue. This is around the country.
I think it has been this summer. It's been kind of a shortage this summer, but it will bounce back. It usually does.
So these things go in waves then.
I try to be optimistic, yes, it will.
Yeah. All right. So spoon timber, get your spoon out, put it on the end of your nose, and take that selfie and raise awareness in the attempts to fight hunger locally here, and the Food Bank of South Central Michigan is glad to help. So do we put those on your Facebook page? Or?
Yeah, post them to your own Facebook page. You can tag ours.
Okay.
Mine's out there. I mean, I was the first one to do it.
I bet you were.
We actually had, we're going to have most of our staff start doing it on a regular basis as well to keep the awareness there. We even have a picture of George Washington on the website with a spoon on his nose. So
that was tricky.
Challenging Abe Lincoln. Exactly. Getting him to come back and do a revisit.
All right, Abe. Take the challenge there. All right. And if folks want to help beyond awareness, how do they do that?
You can donate through our website or at the food bank itself on 5451 Wayne Road.
Okay.
And I say every dollar goes 6 meals, so you can help a family in need without really spending a whole lot of money.
Yeah. So if folks are listening now and they're rummaging the cupboards, is it more helpful to receive that kind of a donation of non-perishable item, or would you rather receive cash?
Either way works. I mean, we're never going to turn down food donated. Just always make sure you check the expiration dates. We really don't want food donated that has beyond its shelf life, because if you wouldn't eat it, why would you serve it to someone else?
Right.
And we just end up having to go through and sort it and waste it, and that's not really helping the problem. So if you're going to rate a cupboard, just check expiration dates.
All right, we will do it. Keith Williamson, Food Bank, South Central Michigan. Thank you again.
Thanks for being here.
All right, we'll stay in touch.